didn't return this library book
Yeah,
in 1842.
I swear to, like, I'm sitting here going, is they gonna go that deep today? Yeah, you guys got yourself a new technical project manager. Fantastic. Hang up the phone. Woo! For you!
Turn off the light!
Oh, da, 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 da. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the theretrorents Retro Gaming Podcast. This is episode 43, and I am Al.
I'm Nick.
First off, obviously we've been away a couple weeks, summer being summer. There were some vacations. I think Nick had a trip. I wound up spending a week in Cape May, and then I think I was busy the week before, or just plain tired because my job was killing me. And I have great updates on that front, which I'll get to. But we are back. We're excited to be back. Kyle is busy with summer. I did just talk to him briefly. He will be back. He's just on a short hiatus, enjoying time traveling and being with his kids. Work, kicks his butt. So, it's totally understandable. His seat's always here. We miss him. We can't wait to talk with him again. But it is me and Nick. We are flying the F-16, bringing it out of retirement, pilot and navigator. It's so appropriate, don't you think? You probably hear me crack a bit. That's because I listened to the recent episode of the Game Hounds, and I did not turn my speaker sideways, and I think I caught whatever sore throat Edie has. That's the host of the Game Hounds. I'm only half joking, but no, I literally listened to their latest episode, and then that night I started feeling that tickle in my throat, and I'm like, son of a bitch, the Game Hounds got me sick. So that was last night, and I'm probably gonna crack and whatever, but I've got all the good medicines for a head cold. I took some Allegra, took a little Dayquil earlier in the day, and I'm finishing it off with the best nighttime cough medicine, raspberry Smirnoff and pineapple juice.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah, it tastes like cough medicine, so I figured it'll have a similar effect.
Helps the medicine go down.
It sure does. So what have you been up to, man? It's been a couple weeks.
It has. It's basically counting down to the move. I'm about less than a month out now. I think we're at 27 days. But it's like slowly getting everything packed up, getting the house ready.
Very good.
And just totally focused towards that. Nothing stopping the train, so it's all good. It's just the process of moving. It's just I wanted to be a month from now and be moved and be all set.
Yeah. I feel you. We were in a similar limbo. You're on the house front. Mine was on the job front. We'll share that. Mm-hmm. We'll share that. But it is a weird spot to be in your life, don't you think? Like, in your case, something's coming. It's a month away. It's a lot to prepare for. You do as much as you can, and you're just like, I don't really want to start anything. I don't really want to do anything.
That's exactly it. It's not, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily draining per se.
No, it's fucking draining.
It's a different kind of draining. Like there's the drain. I feel like there's the draining where it's like, okay, it's like you're dreading it or something. But this isn't dread. This is just like, I just want it to be over with. I know it's coming. I know I can get through it, but I just want to get there and just get it. So I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Holy shit, can I relate there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like what's going on in your end there?
Oh, well, we just got back from our much-needed vacation. I took a week off. The girls and I all went down to Cape May again. We went there last year. We absolutely loved it. And we just said, where are we going this year? We're going right back to Cape May. We rented out the same house.
Beautiful.
And it's such a great spot, man. It's hard to beat. I don't know if you've ever been to Cape May, but like you have the main town there, and that's where the shore is, and their boardwalk and whatnot. And that's the more crowded area. That's the ocean beach. Well, where we stay is like a block and a half away from the bay. And the bay is like, you get ocean waves, It's not nearly as deep. It's like waist high, perfect shark water. And, it's just perfect because nobody goes there. Like, there's a couple people on the beach, maybe, a small handful in the afternoons. But really, like, we're able to, like, lay down our towel, lay down our chairs, spread out the umbrella and the tent for the baby, and nobody's right on top of you. You can't beat it. Although we did have an asshole show up on our last day at the beach.
There's always one. There's always one.
And, while I'm not exactly joining their echelon, I'll talk about the new job in a second. I definitely am moving up into the bracket of, okay, we're no longer check to check. We can actually live comfortably. But these people, I'm sorry, were rich assholes. This guy and his family pull up. Now, there is miles of Bay Beach, okay? Like, there's plenty. And most of it was open. But Captain Shithead and his crew pull up in this fucking boat called the Boss Lady. So we already know where this is going. It reeked of Jersey. Pulls up right in front of where we were sitting. See him taking out his stupid anchor. Okay, and we were swimming there 2 minutes ago. Parks his boat, throws down his anchor, and, like, handing off the beach chairs to his family as they wade through the waist-deep bay water to their spot on the beach. Oddly enough, right the fuck on top of us, again, even though they had miles of open beach, and proceed to, like, set up this tent, start blasting their radio.
Oh,
and,
they got the radio too? Oh,
dude,
man.
And he leaves his boat there. So you know me, like, I'm not one for confrontation, but I had just had enough. And, like, my in-laws are there, my girls are there, Amber's there. We're all immediately pissed off by this. And Am's like, wow, some people are really fucking rude. And my wife has no problem, like, amplifying her voice just to make sure her target knows who's being talked about. And nothing. So we're like, you know what, fine. I was done anyway. I had a horseshoe crab crawl on my foot, and those alien-looking motherfuckers creeped me out.
That's come, baby.
Dude, I'll tell you a story about that in a second. And so we're packing up, and they're sitting there, sipping their drinks and just laughing. Okay, family having fun. But it was so fucking rude. I'm walking by, and I made sure to turn and look at him and raise my voice to my max decibels. I was like, yeah, I hear the Boss Lady's a real jerk-off. And they just kind of gave me a look like I was the asshole. And, yeah, it was really angering. But speaking of horseshoe crabs, so our first night there, it was supposed to rain all week, and luckily we avoided, well, not all week, most of it, we avoided all rain until nighttime. We got so lucky. Like, we'd finished our day stuff, and then nighttime it would rain. Well, the first night we were there, we get a fucking storm. Like, a coastal monster.
Oh, that was that dumper, yeah.
I loved it.
Well, I hated it because I had to drive.
I am sitting in that screened-in porch. It is coming down like the 40 days and 40 nights, Bubba. I'm like, this is the shit. Me and Amber are standing out there. The kids are sleeping. We're like, man, this is great. Like, I love this. And, and finally, like, so the next morning, my in-laws like, oh, we're gonna take the kids to the beach. And Amber's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the beach. And I just wasn't feeling it. Like, we had just gotten there. I was like, I'm not quite up for a day in the sun. I just want to relax. I was still burnt out pretty bad from work. And I'm just going to hang out here. I'll keep the baby for the day. So I'm chilling out. They come back hours later. And apparently the storm surge from the night before had created the equivalent of a horseshoe crab orgy on the beach. Like, to hear my father-in-law describe it, and he is not an exaggerator, he's like, they were fucking everywhere. And I'm like, really? And he's like, all along the edge of the beach, and he goes, they start getting on top of each other. And Paige is like, what are they doing? And we're all like, trying to avoid the subject.
Oh boy.
Apparently, this is how horseshoe crabs decide it's time to get lucky, and that's right after a bad storm. It just gets them all in the mood, and they just go to the beach and bang like crazy. And, there was that. Anyway, believe it or not, it was a great vacation. I actually went to a distillery for the first time, toured a distillery, had some incredible liquors from Naughty, Nauti distilleries. Okay. And absolutely phenomenal. Like, I never knew hard liquor could actually taste as good as this did. Like, I like my liquor, but, you know, there's some, it's like, oh, this is smooth, but still a little harsh. This shit was, like, dangerous smooth. They made their own vodka, their own rum, and their own gin. And,
nice.
Oh my God, was it ever good. They made their own whiskey, but it was, like, literally sold out till next year. So, yeah, it was great. We had a great time. But I got some really good news before I left. So I've been hinting on the cast, big opportunity, big opportunity. Well, the cat's out of the bag, so now I can basically, put it all out there. Back in March, I had applied for a position at GitHub. If you work in IT or in development, like the Git Unix tool and GitHub is very, very, very familiar for people working in software design. They reached out to me in May and wanted to interview me. I was blown away because it was kind of one of those, like, I threw my resume at it thinking, oh man, I'm not going to hear from these guys. This place is, like, notoriously difficult to get into. And no, they got back to me in May, and that started what was a 10 interview process.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Start to finish, it was 10 interviews from the beginning of May until getting the offer, which was a day before we left for vacation, which was last Friday the 5th. That was when I got the offer. And it was like, holy crap, what a way to start my vacation as we left Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Like, so that's when, when you're talking about, like, being in that kind of limbo where you just want it to be over. 2 weeks before that, I had been through what I thought was my last interview, and I was just like, they're like, all right, we'll get in touch with you, for the end, the end interviews, the follow up, end interviews, whatever. And we'll get in touch with you Friday. Well, Friday I heard nothing. I'm like, all right, I'll give him a day. And then Monday, I didn't hear anything. And to give you an idea, like, this is a huge career opportunity for me. And now that I got it, it's a huge leap forward. Like, ginormous, to where my boss was even shocked. My current boss. And, so you're sitting there, like, I'm obsessively checking my Gmail, just on edge for the past easily month and a half, waiting to see if I get to the next phase, then waiting to see if I get an offer. Finally, I get the offer, and I'm, like, in such a state of disbelief. I go and enjoy my vacation, and then I submit for the background check and all that stuff. And, obviously, like, my background's clean as a whistle, but, you get something this big, and you're like, something's going to take this away. Something.
Like, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
Something is going to take this away.
You didn't return this library book.
Yeah.
In 1842.
I swear to, like, I'm sitting here going, is it going to go that deep? Did I forget a library book? Like, you get fucking paranoid. And, but they get back to me this week, Monday night. I finally hear everything cleared. You're good. It's official. You are now a hubber. You start, August 5th. And I was like, fuck yeah, like, it's finally awesome. Done. And so I went in and gave my notice. I thought my current boss was going to have a heart attack. Because I seriously think, I know he didn't see this coming, but I'll just say that this company could do much, much better things with their talent retention than what they do. And I'll leave it at that. Considering, like, if you get in a company like GitHub, like, that's where you want to go. I mean, their benefits, holy shit, dude. Their health benefits are amazing. They cover everything. For me and my family, nothing comes out of my check. I get a stipend from...
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's 100% from home. I get a stipend from my home office. They'll cover your cable and internet bill
Nice.
I get a phone stipend every year. I get an education stipend every year. It's insane, dude. Like unlimited PTO. Who the fuck does that? I've never heard of that, but I'll take it.
It's a new thing. It's definitely with more like California style companies. My dad's last company had moved to that system.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting too. But the concept is like, it's like unlimited PTO, but it's like as long as you get your work done.
Yeah, so, as long as you get your work done. And I read that, and their whole philosophy is like, if you're getting your work done, if you need a break, take a break. Why? Because rested, happy employees are more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, how come no one else has thought of that? It's just like, it almost seems like common sense. But yeah, needless to say, I'm extremely excited. The interview process alone just made me fall in love with this company. Like, everybody I talked to, they're just brilliant people. They're all incredibly nice. They're just happy to be there, and it just looks like, the company I've always wanted to work at, and the position is exactly what I want to do in my career. So I couldn't be happier. Awesome. Couldn't be happier. So, I mean, that's the life front. Everything is great there. What have you been doing game-wise, man?
Game-wise, again, not much. I have been dabbling. I jumped back into They Are Billions. I don't know. You're familiar with that? I gotta
play that again. I played it a bit. Man. I like it.
It's so good. They have a campaign now. So, if you played it previous, all they had was what's called
survival mode, right?
Yeah, it was just basically tons of zombies come at you, and you choose the difficulty, and basically the difficulty was like the number of zombies in each wave type of thing.
Yeah, that game made me eat my own poop.
Oh yeah. Like easy was like it was one of the first games in a very long time where easy was just brutal,
horrible.
Now that mode's still there, but now there's a campaign that actually takes you through stuff. What I would say properly is like any traditional RTS. It kind of eases you into things. It kind of gives you. There's this cool little like tech tree now. So instead of like you go through missions and you suddenly get this unit available. You have your choice of like how do you want to unlock things, and you don't. It's kind of weird because you don't have enough points apparently in the end to unlock everything. But if you lose it, I want to say a round, but lose a map.
Okay.
It'll allow you to reset everything down to 0. I think again. And so basically it's like, oh, that combination didn't work, so let me try this, and this, and this. And it's like, aha. So like I haven't gotten very far in the campaign. I got like a few things. I got like, I unlocked like the towers and some
know what I'm playing tonight.
Yeah. Totally worth jumping back in if you haven't done it in a long time. And there's a little bit of a story now, so you get a little bit of like what is this that we're dealing with? It's like, why are all these zombies here type of thing. So it starts to answer those questions. There also are hero missions now.
Ooh.
So there's what I would call traditional stuff, kind of similar to survival, where you have your base and you build it out. But then there's these kind of side missions that are specifically for heroes that you select at the very beginning. And basically, it's kind of like old school Command and Conquer. What was it? I think Special Ops was where I think it first happened. Where basically you're controlling one unit.
Okay.
And this unit is like super badass, and they go in. You're going into like bunkers and whatnot, and you're investigating, and sometimes you pick up allies along the way. So you have you can go from these very the big map experience that you're kind of used to with survival mode down to this kind of I'd say intimate hero mission, and it's a lot of like fun. It kind of helps break things up so you're not constantly like Big Mac. It's like, okay, now I have a little small very specific mission, and again
that
depending on
so cool.
The difficulty determines how many like zombies you're facing and how quickly you can necessarily clear it. So yeah, definitely worth jumping back in to check that out if you already have it. I think the Steam sale is still going on, so it might be on sale. So yeah, if you're a fan of RTS, absolutely pick it up. It's definitely worth it.
Very cool. That sounds great. Yeah, I'll be downloading that as soon as we're done here. Actually, that sounds fantastic. I played it briefly. I played the survival mode. I tried like 5 times, got destroyed every time.
Oh yeah. It took me forever to finally like beat the first map in like I think I was on easy. It's like, man, how do you do this? You know, because I'm not like one of those it's like I mean so many actions per minute type RTS player. I'm the casual RTS where it's like yes, let me turtle up for about 10
I'm about to say you're an old guy like me. We turtle up.
It's like turtle up and then you build up this huge gigantic army and then you send the army out. I'm not about these like you got to build your Vespine gas in the first 30 seconds and like this then you're like
nice StarCraft callback there, baby.
Yeah, I know, right? Like you kind of have to do that in survival just to like stay ahead of the zombie waves, and once you understand the sequence then it's not so bad, but it doesn't lend itself to your first couple of rounds where you get your
I just got destroyed.
Asshole punched in several times while you learn.
Yeah, that game whooped me, but I like the idea of a campaign, so I'm definitely gonna check that out. Very cool. You been watching anything?
No, I don't think so. Just kind of like the smattering of movies. I saw that the few episodes of The Outer Limits are on Amazon.
Yes.
I think the old '90s version, the old '90s Outer Limits. So I've been kind of like rewatching those. Like, oh yeah, like I used to watch them all the time back on like when they were on Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh yeah,
so it's a nice packing series. So like I'll be packing, I'll just have it on in the background. It's like, oh yeah, it's great.
The inner mind to the outer
limits. Yeah.
Show is so good.
Oh well, yeah, absolutely. It's like a great sci-fi,
like a darker horror sci-fi.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I mean, it's this weird thing because like back in the 50s or whatever, like I feel like Twilight Zone was the best. The old very old Outer Limits, not so much. I didn't like those.
It's okay. They were just trying to be, hey, me too.
Yeah, they were doing it's like, oh, me too. We can do that stuff too. Then you get to the 90s. I actually prefer the 90s Outer Limits to the 90s Twilight Zone. I felt like that Twilight Zone is pretty lacking.
I'm 100% with you actually. I love the old Twilight Zones. I was not a fan of the 90s Twilight Zone. I mean, it was okay. It's not that I wouldn't watch it.
It wasn't like I wasn't going to turn off, but it was just like, you know what? I actually prefer Outer Limits.
I was going to say, but 90s Outer Limits was where it was at, dude. There was just, I don't know, I just feel like there were more moments in that one that, just kind of stuck with you. Whereas like the old Twilight Zone shit, everybody remembers Beauty is Only Skin Deep.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could throw up names of the old Twilight Zone episodes, like the one where the kid is dreaming that like the world is freezing, and
and then it turns out like it's
actually melting.
Melting. Yeah, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, like the world's actually burning. Yeah, like shit like that was really cool. But yeah, no, man, I gotta check that out. I didn't realize that was on Prime.
Yeah, I don't know when it arrived, but I was like, oh, I need something to just put on in the background. I was like, perfect. I'll just throw this up. It's great.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Yeah, I mean, jeez. I guess for me, I've been pretty busy on the gaming and movie front. I couldn't play anything real heavy down in Cape May because I have my old laptop for that, and it can only do certain things. However, I did reach out to Bonus XP prior to leaving, and I asked them, or I told them I'd be interested, whenever they released, if we could get a copy of Stranger Things 3, the game, for it to play on PC, so I could review it for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they got in touch with me the Saturday I got down there, gave me a code, and I played a bunch of that while I was on vacation.
Nice.
Have you seen any clips from it?
I think only like little bits and pieces when they debuted. I think at E3,
PAX.
but that was about it. I haven't seen much.
Or maybe it was E3.
Yeah, E3. I don't know. One of the two. Yeah, I saw it somewhere, but I haven't really paid too much attention recently to it.
All right.
Did it finally come out? I guess.
It came out the day the season 3 came out, which was July 4th.
Okay, so yeah, so it came out recently. That makes sense. Okay.
And there's a specific reason for that, because I asked them, like, can I get a preview copy? They're like, well, we'd love to, but we can't, because it pretty much goes step in step with season 3, so we can't. It's got a lot of spoilers, so we got to wait till the show comes out. Yeah, no problem. Just let me know, and I'd be very interested. Well, so that's one of the things I played, and let me tell you what, like, there are some reviews kind of shitting on this game, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's a perfect game. I'm not going to say it's even a fantastic game, but I'm saying for what it is, they get it. Not the reviewers, but the people that made it. And what I'm trying to say is, have you seen Stranger Things?
Another one of those I have to get around to actually watching it. It looks cool.
Listen to me.
I just haven't got around to it.
Stop it. Listen to me. I don't know what your plans were for tonight.
Just stop. You're going to start watching.
When we're done here, I want you to go queue up season 1 of Stranger Things, because it's going to hook you, because the first thing it starts out as is kids that were our age at one point sitting around a table playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
And they nail it. Like, you could tell the people that did this show play D&D. They understand exactly what it is. And from that point on, that show hits all those fucking buttons.
Nice.
It takes place in the 80s. And there are so many wonderful callbacks done exactly the right way without being corny. I mean, it is a little corny, but it is in that perfect 80s way. You know what it is? It's the new Goonies.
I got that feeling, I think, when I first saw the trailers and the little bits and pieces I see of Stranger, it's like, this looks like a kind of a horror's Goonies.
It's exactly what it is. And it's a masterpiece.
Awesome.
All 3 seasons are fantastic. So, what the game is it's a style of game that looks like it could be 8-bit Nintendo. Well, man, now maybe like Super Nintendo. So 16-bit.
Okay. Yeah. I remember it had that retro pixel look to it.
Yep. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Juice.
I'm telling you, it's fucking killing me. I gotta get more vodka. I'm almost out on the cup. But so it's got that look to it, and it's like action, sort of kind of RPG-ish. It is literally like a game that would have come out in 1992, based on a movie or a series. It is exactly that, where it is step in step, lockstep with the story, but instead of a scene at the ice cream parlor that took a minute in the movie, you got to go back and find his keys, and they're somewhere in the kitchen, and might be hidden in a box, and you got to break a few things. It is and I hate using this phrase because it sounds like I have a curled mustache and smoke out of a pipe. But they smash through the meta of what that is, what that kind of game is. It is exactly like that. So the reviews that are shitting on it saying, this is a game based on a wonderful series that's one of those games that are not trying to cash out, but they add all kinds of shit in, and it's yeah, they do that to extend the time. This is what people did in games like that to make the gameplay last longer. So it's it's not that it's a fantastic game. It's great in that it is exactly what it tries to be, and it's fun. Especially if you watch the series, the scenes that get reenacted are done so perfectly late 80s, early 90s. You can't help but love it. If you love Stranger Things, you're going to love this if you can appreciate what they're trying to do. It's almost like a weird art project. And I have to give Bonus XP incredible respect for what they did. I think it's a 2-person team, too. So it's
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small team, if not 2 people. I think they had other contributors, but, it really is one of those, what you guys set out to do, you nailed it. And I thought it was really clever, and I thought it was fun, and I liked it a lot. So I would highly recommend, if you grew up in the same time frame we did, which most of our listeners have, check it out. It's worth, I think it's $19, so it's worth it though. I had so much fun with it, just oh my god, it's like playing fucking Gremlins 2 again. This is pretty wild.
So not only is it taking the story, but it's paying homage to the old 80s, 90s games as well.
Yeah, games based on movies. 100%.
Gotcha.
And it is done in such a masterstroke. If you played those games, you can't help but appreciate it. You're like, wow, you guys really know where this comes from. I just thought it was cool and very creative, and I don't know.
That makes sense. Like, I can see where if the reviewer wasn't familiar with that kind of style game that that we played back in the day, that even the one that we'd rent from like Blockbuster or whatever.
Yes, this is exactly what this is. Yes,
and it's like, like there's always I mean, it's kind of an eternal thing. I think I've yet to see maybe Star Wars. Star Wars maybe the only exception.
Maybe
with like the old, I should rephrase, with the old LucasArts.
Okay, all right.
With EA today, it's like you're drifting off course a little bit. But for the most part, it's like whenever you saw a title or a game based on a movie, or I don't know, were there any TV show?
Not really. I mean, maybe there was like a MacGyver game. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, but, who knows? Oh, well, there's a G.I. Joe one. That
was all right.
Okay, but
yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, it was okay. That's okay. But for the most part, it's like you kind of knew, it's like, okay, I'm gonna play this, and it's gonna make no sense to the movie whatsoever, but I'm gonna play it anyway. Whatever.
Yeah, and like, it's so hard to describe. Like, it is specifically made, again, for people like us, that grew up in that era. They knew exactly who their audience was, and it's the same audience that watches Stranger Things and loves it. Like, the people that are like just fawning over this series are people like us. Like, the people that made it are us. You know what I mean? They're our age. So I gotta say, man, like, I know you. I know what you like. You will binge the shit out of this.
Oh yeah, like it definitely. Like, I haven't watched it because it doesn't look interesting. It's just it's more the usual. No time to watch it, but I'll make it a point. I'll watch it.
You have time tonight. You have homework.
Yeah, I have homework.
No, because I really want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to you about it because I think you'd really love it. So yeah, I was playing that, and then let's see, what else was I playing? Game Pass for PC. Microsoft, you're killing it, baby. You may not have the best exclusives. Sony's got that market, but that Game Pass for PC it's the shit. I am now playing Shadow of War, which I don't.
Nice.
I don't think I would have picked it up and bought it. I mean, I loved Shadow of Mordor. Loved that game.
Yeah. I love that game. I've been meaning to pick up Shadow of War. It's like, but it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. Get that fucking Ultimate PC Game Pass, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is that's another one that your PC game syncs with your Xbox game.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, I just finished playing Shadow of War in the computer room, but I'm going to go sit on my couch. Oh, wait, I can play it out here. So... I loved Shadow of Mordor. I loved the Nemesis system. I thought that was such a brilliant, brilliant game mechanic. I know we had an episode about it early on in this podcast's life.
Yeah, talking about the first one, yeah.
And the Nemesis system.
Definitely one of the more unique gameplay mechanics I think I've seen to date.
I agree, and Shadow of War just rolls with that even harder. I was up entirely too late, as sick as I felt. I think I was up to like 1:30 playing the shit out of that last night. So I've been playing that, having a lot of fun. And then the biggest one on my list that I was just so blown away and happy with, and I've been having so much fun with, is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Now, at this point, I think everybody knows what this is. Most people do. It's made by... I'm sorry. My sick brain is not going to let me remember the guy's name. He is immortal. He is the brilliant mind behind Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And Bloodstained is 100%, if he could have called it Castlevania, I think he would have. But I don't think he has the rights to it. But it is 100%, that beautiful Symphony of the Night, Castlevania, Metroidvania kind of mechanic. And it is done so masterfully well. The graphics are gorgeous. The music is absolutely awesome. I want to get an OST of it because I could listen to it all day. Just like Symphony of the Night. Wonderful music in that too. The gameplay, the castle exploration, the little carrot and stick of, oh, you got to have this before you can pass through this door, and all the little mechanics. There's a crafting system now, a cooking system.
Oh, wow.
It's just great. If you like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you have to play this game. There's just no, stop what you're doing. If you haven't played it yet, get a copy, and I'll see you tomorrow. You'll love it. And I'm having so much fun with it. I'm very close to the end, the good ending, because I already got the bad ending. I figured it was going to be a bad ending. I don't think I should be fighting you. But yeah, it's very, very good. And the voice cast, unlike Symphony of the Night, the voice cast, phenomenal. I can't remember his name now, but he is a character you run into. You actually fight 1 or 2 times. He's got a long katana, and he's a demon fighter. He's obsessed with fighting demons, like Ikaruga. I'm getting it wrong. But voiced by the great David Hayter.
Oh.
Yes, and he sounds just like Solid Snake with a guitar.
Of course.
It's fantastic. The game is just, it hits all the right notes. I've had a blast with it. So check it out, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's just great. And then as far as watching, obviously, Am and I binged Stranger Things Season 3. God damn, they did it again. And we definitely got choked up at the ending, although I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I could Winona Ryder pissed me off, and I'll leave it at that. Very selfish lady, very selfish. But it ended really great, and then if you watch through the credits, it obviously, door is wide open. There's going to be a season 4, and I'm telling you, man, that series just cannot seem to make a wrong step. And just in case you were really wondering if you should watch it, Nick, season 2 starts out in a real old school arcade, and it will make you
classic.
It will make you miss Friday nights at the mall. Yeah, it's just great. So we watched that, and then because it was hitting HBO this week, and we both watched it at one point, and we were trying to remember, I think we enjoyed this, but maybe we weren't so into it. And that was The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Crimes of Grindelwald hit HBO this week, so the part 2 in that series. So we said, all right. I said, well, I want to watch the first one again before we watch it, because it's been a while. And I remember liking it, but it was one of those, I wasn't sure if I wasn't into it. And it was and then as we're watching it, I'm like, no, I think just the kids wouldn't let us fucking sit down and watch it for some reason. Because we watched the first one, and we're like, wow. Start to finish, I'm like, this was really good. This is way better than whatever memory stuck with me. So it's all right, we're going to watch Crimes of Grindelwald this week. And we did, and that one was just as good. Obviously, I don't think it's going to have the same magic that the Harry Potter movies do, but it's one of those.
It's a continuation of the universe, yeah.
Exactly, and it hits all the right notes there. And I gotta say, Jude Law as young Dumbledore, it fucking works.
Oh yeah. I really liked him in Magical Beasts. I kind of went into the same thing. It's okay, it's a Harry Potter extension / prequel. Is this going to work? And it's okay, it has its own little charm, and like I said, it expands that universe, and I think it works.
Yeah, and the second movie is fantastic. Johnny Depp, obviously, it's hard for that guy to make a misstep when it comes to movies. Personal life, we won't go there. But, bit of an asshole. But, his performance as Gellert Grindelwald was riveting. And Jude Law as Dumbledore was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful as young Dumbledore. And it just kind of reinforces, spoiler alert if you haven't read the Harry Potter series, Dumbledore is a very pragmatic guy, to the point where it could be argued he's kind of an asshole. A loving asshole, but an asshole. In the way that he kind of steers and uses people for the greater good, but usually
he didn't give them the whole picture.
Yeah, a great sacrifice to themselves. And Jude Law really nails that, especially in the second movie. So I was just very happy with it. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the third movie, and I highly recommend it. So.
Oh, they are making a third then. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I believe it's supposed to be a trilogy. Obviously, the way this ended, it ain't over yet. So. but very good. So yeah, I think that's it as far as what I've been watching and playing. Anything else on your end? That if not, we'll head to release highlights.
No, I think that's about it. I mean, like I said, my time is partially consumed by getting ready for the move, so I haven't really been able to dive into too many things like I usually do.
Sure. No, that's fair, man. I totally get it. Like, I just feel like my life is finally getting in order now that, like, again, getting that new job offer, it's like, okay, now I know which path my life is definitely going down.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you're sitting like, is it not going to work out? Like, and I'm telling you, at the end of it,
no, maybe so.
Like, towards the end of it, I was like, they said they're still interviewing other candidates. That means I'm not it. And we were really depressed. Like, we were really upset because I felt I had nailed the interviews. And, like, I was just so upset. And I started looking for other jobs. And,
I admit, like, when you were talking about it, like, I was starting to get nervous, like, the fact that it's like, oh, they're still there. I was like, man, they seem to be bringing you along. Cause...
yeah. And it all ended, basically, the week before, the week of the 4th, when Wednesday comes, and, they said, oh, hey, person A wants to talk to you because, he'd be your boss, and we tried to connect you two during the interview process, and he was traveling, and it didn't work out. And he just wants to talk to you. So, very informal. I said, all right, yes, I'm free all day, set it up. And we talked 5 o'clock that night and, hit it off. We're opposite personalities in that I'm Captain Optimism and he is a Sith Lord, but it's like in a good way. It's in a good way. It's more like in the way we perform our job. And I think we both came to the conclusion that we work very well together because we can kind of good cop, bad cop certain things. And, I hit it off with him immediately. So he was like, yeah, I just thought it'd be great, for you to talk to the guy who might be your boss, and the guy who might be your boss might meet the guy who's going to possibly hire. So I was like, all right, and I figured, oh, shit, that went really good. And then, like, all right, we'll let you know, blah, blah, blah. And the one thing he said that got me like, holy shit, this might be a possibility. And he's like, all the feedback I got was really great, but I had to talk to you first. And I was like, shit, all right, maybe I did do good. And then the next day, which was Thursday, nothing happened. I was like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, here we go again, another week of waiting. And then Friday, I heard from the recruiters, like, hey, I just want to do the wrap-up interview. And I was like, oh, fuck. And, we set the time up, and she started saying, yeah, everything went great. The feedback was great. And I'm sitting there in my mind going, but... just waiting for it. And it's like, oh, we'd like to make you an offer. And it was like, and then they put the offer on the table, and I'm like, okay, don't squeal. Don't squee. Look professional. Yeah, you guys got yourself a new technical project manager. Fantastic. Hang up the phone. Woo! And like running through the house and just going crazy. And but anyway, so now that I know what path my life's going down, I can actually start living again. And, so in that, we will go to news, and release highlights. Just not much on the release radar this week. They're doing the Gears of War 5 tech demo this weekend. I'm going to check it out. I'm very guilty of not playing through that series, and I probably should. I know, Nick, you've played pretty much all of those, right?
The last one I played was 3. So, okay. I mean, it was a great series, but, I kind of fell off by 4 because there's just like, it started to fall into the Call of Duty, line of just like, it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Okay. All right.
Certainly if you're new to it, it's like, yeah, great series to jump into. Very, very fun multiplayer. And I'll probably check out like the campaign or whatever because I think they said that's part of the Game Pass thing. So it's like, okay, yes. Great. Yeah.
It's on Microsoft Studios. It's Microsoft Studios, so you'll get...
Exactly. So it's like, I'll probably look to play it that way. But yeah, in terms of like, purchase, I haven't purchased it since 3. Like, I think I've watched some Let's Plays. Like, the 4th one had, seemed like it had a decent story for what it was. And
yeah.
But again, it was just like, okay, I can't buy another. It's like, come on.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see what they're doing with Gears 5. So the tech demo for that's this weekend. A little gem that I've just recently tripped over because I didn't know it existed, and I'm kind of like, wow, I really got to look into this further. It's a game called Dustwind.
Dustwind.
Yeah, it's a indie developed kind of love letter to Fallout Tactics, except it's in real time. So it's almost like, you know, an Infinity Engine game,
right?
But it's developed in Unreal. It is Fallout in everything but name, like the same kind of targeting system. Again, for the older Fallouts where it was isometric.
Right, yeah. It was like Fallout 1 and the original 1 and 2.
Yeah. And the game looks fantastic. And I've watched a bunch of videos and I'm like, man, I really want to play this. And every like review I've read of it is like, man, this is fantastic to play. You know, the mechanics are great. This game is just really lacking because it doesn't have a single player campaign. It would be great to get a little bit more into this world, so it comes off kind of dry. And, you know, I think it released last year, or maybe even a little before that. But long story short, their single player campaign, one of the most requested things, releases next week on July 25th. So I'm very intrigued. I've reached out to the team. They're actually really intrigued, really eager to talk to us, either ahead of the release or soon after, and just tell more people about it, because they know we talk about older games, and, you know, obviously any kind of love letter to the old Fallouts is going to rate high here, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to them and set up an interview. I'd love to talk to the developers, and obviously anybody that has this much passion to bring this kind of a project to light that is done as well as this is, I want to talk to them, and I really want to play the game. So I'm going to be picking it up as soon as I can, just financially, and then I am going to really plow into that, because I love that stuff, and it just looks great. You know, the XCOM / Fallout, all those strategy tactic shooters, team, you know, base things, I can't get enough of it, so it just looks great. So that comes out next week. That's been on my radar. I don't know if there's anything on yours, Nick, as far as upcoming releases within the next week or two.
I don't think anything's majorly made my radar. I know Tribes of Midgard is going into an open beta. It's a game I saw at PAX. I've been involved in some of the alpha stuff. Really fun game. It's kind of a top-down, I don't want to say RTS, but you're controlling, almost Diablo-esque is probably a better way to put it.
All right.
And so you have this village, and you go out and you're you know, have these I say ice giants because that's like the only boss they've debuted so far. But it slowly marches towards your village over like several days, and you know, like there's this marker saying you can go right at it, or you can kind of like, you know, farm around your village and like collect stuff and build up defenses and all this other stuff and build up your own weapons and things like that. It's a very cool game. I think
Intriguing.
It's basically a 4-player co-op if you want. So highly recommend checking it out. Very cool game.
And that is what again? What's the name?
Tribes of Midgard.
Just writing that down, because that I
think it's available through Steam currently.
You know me. I love my Norse mythology. I can't get enough.
Oh yeah. And like eventually they're gonna add in like a whole bunch of other like crazy giants and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. So it's like.
I can't wait. That sounds great.
I think the idea is like obviously how long can your village survive, and you know it's like, you know, obviously taking down the various giants and whatnot. So
instead of they are billions, it's they are Jotun.
Jotun, yeah, except it's like one giant one that just slowly trudges towards your village.
That's really a cool concept. I like that.
Yeah. Like, and it's got a great like kind of cel shaded, you know, art style to it, and really charming. And you know, I'd say for the most part, it's pretty chill. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, you're fighting kind of like these little, I can't remember the Draugr? No. Yeah, I think that's it. Like, yeah, there's like the wild men, and there's like kind of like these Yeti looking things, and I think that's what they are. That are kind of like these like low level, you know, baddies that you fight, you know, close to your village, and obviously like the big bosses are these giants that are, you know, days away that are marching towards your village. So,
Tribes of Midgard. That sounds fantastic. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Excellent. All right. So there's that. As far as news, obviously the big ticket item going on right now is San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Some of the stuff coming out of here already has just got me giggly. Did you see the Witcher trailer?
I just saw it when I got home today. Like I guess it debuted today. I don't think
it did debut today.
Or if it,
Yesterday or
okay,
today.
that makes sense. Sure. Yeah, so it must have been today because I've been like
no, it was today. It was like 2 hours ago. Stuff.
Yeah,
it was like 2 hours ago.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. I came home and like it's in my feed. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch that.
Oh yeah.
Henry Cavill. I was a little bit of a question mark. Now, granted, he's done a great job with Superman. Unbelievable job. If you see him in Mission Impossible, not Fallout, or it was a Fallout. Yeah, I think it was Fallout.
I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen him in that.
Definitely worth seeing. Like he just absolutely kicks ass. Like I mean, it feels like he goes toe to toe with Tom Cruise in terms of like stunts and just the kinetic energy in the film. So definitely worth checking out there. But yeah, it was a bit of a question mark because I don't think we've actually seen him in kind of like any kind of fantasy role. Like Superman would have been the closest, but I wouldn't label it as fantasy per se.
He's a good Geralt though.
Oh yeah. And it's like from the trailers, like okay, you know what, this actually is looking pretty good, and it's got a lot of like cues from obviously my reference is the game. Obviously, it was a book beforehand.
Yeah, mine's the game.
But it's like okay, like it looks like they have the look of the Witcher universe down. So it's like color me intrigued, sign me on board. I'll watch it.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm excited to see more trailers, get to learn a little bit more about where they're going in his story. Oh, sorry. Holy shit. That's so rude to do on a podcast, but I'm sick. I don't care. But no, I'm very intrigued to see where they go with it. I like him as Geralt now that I've seen him in the role. I'm interested. I got to see more, but I obviously at this point I'm all in for watching it. I'll definitely watch it. The next thing, I haven't seen the trailer, but I watched the panel for Terminator Dark Fate. Now, have you seen anything on this?
I haven't watched the panel. I haven't watched the trailer yet. But I saw like the first trailer, whenever that came out, back a couple months. I don't know. I was on the fence with that one. Maybe the newest trailer makes it look better, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
I'm intrigued from the standpoint of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Edward Furlong are all reprising their roles.
Right. Yeah.
So at this point, I don't fucking know where they can go with that story. I mean, it has just been time looped back and forth and paradoxed all to hell. But you know what?
Yeah, maybe that's part of like we're like, because like it's like where does this fit in the timeline?
Yeah.
It's like what is the MacGuffin that gets us to this point now?
Or are we just going to discard everything that happened after Terminator 2, which I would not complain about?
It could be that, because I was watching. It wasn't the panel, but I was actually watching. I think or not watching, but listening to a podcast this morning on the drive-in, and they were talking about that. And apparently, this takes place right after Terminator. Well, I say right after Terminator 2. And obviously, it's like how long ago was it? Was it 25 years?
Yeah.
Since I don't know, whatever like real time has passed since the movie came out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that real time.
More or less the same amount of time that's passed in universe to this movie. So it's like okay. And I can't keep up with all like the crazy timelines now.
I'd be fine if this was a reboot up to that point. Like if they said, all right, you know what, discard everything.
Yeah, they didn't say that specifically, but they're making it sound like that's the case. Like disregard the 3 and 4, I guess it is.
I don't even
the previous
know.
ones.
Yeah,
3 was the one with the chick in the red leather.
Yeah, we won't. Oh.
4 was
Christian Bale.
And then then I guess there is a fifth one.
How was it? Oh, good for you!
Turn off the light. And then number 5 is I can't remember the actor's name. But basically, Robo John Connor is what I got out of that.
Yeah, yeah. So if they're saying, look, pretend those don't exist. All right, you know what? I'll give this a shot.
Sure.
just because, to me, the last Terminator that I thoroughly enjoyed was Terminator 2. And if they're bringing back that same cast and they're going to say, okay, that's the last story that counts, all right, I'm in.
Okay.
I'll check it out. Other than that, I don't know. So there was that. One thing I was very intrigued about is there's a new Creepshow series coming, September 26th. Creepshow was another like little horror, B-horror series, with horror shorts and stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, was Creepshow the Stephen King one? No, that was Cat's Eye. No, Creepshow. I've seen the original Creepshow, but it's been years. But I could just say it was 80s horror, and my memories of it are very fond. And just seeing that come back has me pretty excited. So I gotta look into more on that. But it was just more. I saw, hey, new Creepshow. It's the same font. It looks like it's either a reboot or whatever, and I'm very excited. I love cheesy B horror. So spoon feed me. Let's go. And then there was Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
I am the weirdest mix of excited, because that's one of my favorite 80s movies. I could watch it over
It's a classic.
Absolute classic. But then I'm watching this trailer and I'm sitting here like, okay. I was just waiting for the Funny or Die title to come up. Like, is this a parody? And I don't mean it that it was making fun of itself, but it was more like, they're showing like shot for shot, like it's Top Gun all over again. Just later, like look, he's riding a motorcycle. Hi, airplane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even down like the original like Tomcat and his helmet, and
then it's like, oh look, and here's a man playing a piano with a mustache, but he's Goose's son. It's like, okay.
It's like, oh, what is going on?
All right.
I remember, I remember sitting there. It's like, okay, yeah, this is weird because this is hitting all the nostalgia buttons.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
is it trying to
make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, and look,
like, where's going on?
And where's Mr. Strickland? Gotta have Mr. Strickland.
Right. Your body's cashing checks. You're cashing checks. Your body can't cash.
Yeah. What the hell? Your attitude? Oh fuck! I can't remember the saying. Yeah. Either way, you know what we're getting at. You're gonna be flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong. Yeah.
I mean, because there's also a lot going on too. I mean, there's like, he's like in a U2 or not U2, but that spacesuit, so that's either used in the U2 or the SR-71. So is he, like, how many planes is he flying?
Yeah, what is he doing? And oh look, more shirtless volleyball. Okay.
Now I will say, the carrier launch looks super real. I don't know if they confirm this, but the way Tom Cruise is a producer on this, and like he's been a producer a lot of his movies recently. He's all about, I say authenticity in the sense of like trying to be as real in camera as possible. So like look at like the Mission Impossible stunts where like he's hanging out of a plane, like he's actually hanging off a plane for that thing.
Yeah, he's doing his own stunts.
Yeah,
and we were joking about it before the show. Like he's become a producer on his movies literally so he can have the response of "fuck it, I'll insure myself."
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was watching Mission Impossible 3. And on Amazon, and they had that like X-ray, behind the scenes thing, and one of the blurbs was like, before they started, like work on Mission Impossible 3, like Tom Cruise was trying to get it off the ground, and like no one would produce it because it was like, we're not cheering you. It's like, screw it, I'll do it, and I can do all my own stunts.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give him all the props in the world because let's face it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like whatever you think of a person, like the dude is like all about.
He's a motherfucker. He's tough.
He's a maniac. He's a maniac. And like there's a look of realism here that is so rare. I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
These days.
I completely agree. So much relies on CGI. It was kind of one of my disappointments with The Hobbit. Because, to me, Peter Jackson, I thought, was such a pioneer with The Lord of the Rings and pushing for miniatures and realism of that architecture. And The Hobbit kind of showed, like, all right, this is what happens when you go to computer. And a lot of stuff does that now. Yes, it makes it easier. Yes, nowadays, it makes it almost cheaper. But, like, when I saw that, like you said, when I saw these flight clips and the carrier clip, because my cousin used to be in the Navy, and this is back in the mid-90s, but, like, everybody that serves in the Navy gets kind of like a tape to bring home to friends and family that shows what they do. And one of the things, because he was a green shirt, it showed all for those who don't know, green shirts are the guys, like if you watch Top Gun, you'll see those guys sitting under the plane, like checking the wheel, checking the stuff, and they kind of sit there until the plane takes off right by they maintain the bow catapults to make sure that the devices that launch the planes off the aircraft carriers to make sure they're going fast enough by the time they hit the edge of the carrier to actually take flight. And he was one of the people maintaining those catapults. And, so I know what it looks like when somebody launches off one of those things. And, I mean, I don't know how they're doing it, but it looks like he's getting launched off a goddamn carrier, right?
Yeah, like, if we ever see, like, behind the scenes or, they come on and reveal, like, what was this? Like, I would not be surprised if they put him in, like, a trainer, or if he's just sitting in, like, the Rio seat or something.
Yeah.
And, obviously making it look like he's flying, but it's like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the real deal. Because, yeah, I agree. Like, that looks super authentic.
Perfect.
Way more than like, what, like, a green screen or anything else could have, potentially produced.
Oh, yeah. No, it looks dead on. So I'm interested. I mean, again, the first one's one of my favorite movies. I will be watching this one, whether it's in the theater, although I'm tempted. This is kind of one you got to go see in theater, though.
So. Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I might have to go IMAX this one. So, yeah, it looks cool. The trailers got that perfect wonk to it. It's very 80s, so check it out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, it's like, I'm curious where it's going to go. Like, are we getting a clone of number one, or is it they're simply hitting the notes for the first trailer?
Yeah, I don't know. There are rumors that Val Kilmer might be in this one.
Really?
Yeah, and for those that don't know, I guess he's been really sick. I think he's fine now. I think he's in remission, but I believe he had cancer. Like he had a real battle with cancer.
I think you're right. I remember reading something about that.
So
speaking of Val Kilmer,
yeah.
You know what else he's in? The Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
What?
You missed this.
I missed that in the trailer. Yeah.
He is playing. Well, I don't know if it was in the trailer, but he is playing Blunt Man.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
I gotta watch that again. I missed that. You know what I didn't miss, though? You watch Practical Jokers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see Q's appearance in the trailer?
No, I missed that.
He was the one with, Amber pointed out, he was the one with the camera right towards the end going, are you fucking kidding me, Kevin Smith? Yeah, Brian Q. Quinn has an appearance. For those who don't know, he's actually very good friends with Kevin Smith, Walt Flanagan, and Brian Johnson, the guy that plays Steve Dave, and Walt plays Fanboy. If you ever seen Comic Book Men, Walt's the guy that runs Kevin's comic book store, and Brian is the guy that's like our friend Dave, except taller, more muscular, with gray curly hair. Like total smart ass and doesn't really read the comics, but he's there just to crack jokes. But yeah, so Val Kilmer might be making an appearance. That's great. I'd love to see Iceman.
That'll be good. That'll be good to see him.
Yeah. Just I'm glad to hear he's at least acting again. I'm hoping he's on the mend. And so I was happy to kind of hear that news, even if it's just a rumor. Hopefully we'll get some Iceman in Top Gun Maverick. Oh, let's see. The other news, Gears 5 tech test this weekend. I already mentioned that. You can get in on that, play it if you want. I don't know the details. Go find them out yourself. I'm too sick to care. As Nick mentioned, I think the Steam sale is still going on. There was a bit of fuckery with this over the past week and a half. You hear about that shit show?
No, what?
So, you know how they have that, like, metagame in every Steam sale lately? They were doing this thing where, like, you could join a team, and it was like you're racing around the world based on, like, buying games, getting achievements, all kinds of shit. Like, would get you further in the race with your team. And then the team that won, there'd be, like, a raffle, if I remember correctly, like, random people would, a handful of people would get picked to get a game off of their wish list. Okay. Sounds great.
Okay.
So what people wound up doing was clearing out their entire wish list and just putting on the one game that they wanted, you know, in hopes that, hey, if I win, I want this $60 game. And if you know how Steam wish lists work, this really pissed off some developers.
Oh, I bet.
Because wish lists are how developers of games that are either in workshop or on their way or even already out, it's how developers can communicate with people that, you know, want to play their games. It's not games that are already out, obviously, because it's on your wish list usually. But anyway, it's how they communicate with people that are interested in their game. So many developers over the past week have pretty much lost what is the old school equivalent of their entire mailing list. And because Steam basically, the whole terms of this metagame were laid out very fuzzy, again, just like they did last year. It wasn't explained well, and apparently they would just give you the game that was in the most recent spot on your wish list. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it just wasn't explained well, and now developers are like, fuck you, Steam, like, I can't believe you did this, and it was just some more Steam fuckery, and I don't know, I had to, like, just shake my head. Like, you could tell Steam's heart was in the right place, but it's like, oh my god, guys.
Someone didn't think it through.
Son of a bitch. So there's that. Big news as of, like, 2 hours ago. Frank Pierce is leaving Blizzard. He's one of the original co-founders, along with, like, Mike Morhaime.
Is he like one of the few like originals left?
I'm pretty sure he's like the last one, or if not, he's damn close to it.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah, so he's leaving Blizzard, moving on to other things, and man, it's like the end of an era. It feels like, you know,
it really is.
It's, I don't know. You're around as long as we are. You remember when there wasn't a Blizzard, and then there was. And it's like, holy crap, you know, it's just kind of weird seeing those original pioneers kind of go off and do their own thing. But I'll definitely be following him. I mean, I follow Mike Morhaime and some of the other guys just because you always want to know what they're doing. They're going to be doing something.
Oh, yeah, so, for sure. Like, yeah, it never seemed to stay still for very long.
No. That is the end of news. This will bring us to our SavePoint game of the month, which is Defender of the Crown for Nintendo by Cinemaware. Thanks to the job hunt and everything else, I hadn't really had a chance to play it. I played it a little bit today. Again, it's one of my favorite games. It's a classic. It's a quick play. The Nintendo one, I remember nostalgically, graphically being a little bit better, and I feel like I kind of mixed it and confused it with the Amiga a little bit. I mean, obviously, I know it didn't come close to looking like the Amiga. I just don't remember it looking that bad. But I still played it, and I had a little bit of fun with it. But I still think the Commodore 64 and Amiga versions of Defender of the Crown are definitely the definitive versions of that to play if you're interested. I'll pick a new one for the month and post it in the SavePoint after this episode airs, and we'll try and well, actually no, it's still July, so no, I think Defender of the Crown was our game for June, so I'll pick a new game and we'll play another game till mid-August, and stay tuned on the SavePoint. We'll figure out what that game is. Normally, this is the point where we move on to voicemails. Our voicemail line, 610-810-1654. We do not, to my knowledge, just double checking. Yeah, we don't have any voicemails tonight. So what we'll do though is we did have a question of the bye week, which I'm going to pull up on Twitter and on the SavePoint, because we did have some answers there that I thought were actually pretty good and pretty fun. And let's just go to my profile. Sorry, folks, I should have this up and ready, but as we know, I'm sick, so I'm not thinking. Alright, so, where are you? My retweeted post. What the hell? Alright, let's go to the theretrorents. Twitter. I'm like all over here, guys. I'm a mess. I don't care. Alright. So our question of the bye week is, what game series should be the next in a quote-unquote maker line of games, a la Super Mario Maker 2? Mm-hmm. What would you like to see? I will start with our answers, and then Nick and I will give you our own. Our pal Hoodie Ninja, Jeremy from the Bad Fodder Figures, posted on Twitter. Elder Scrolls / Fallout Maker. They use pretty much the same engine, so just add some different themed assets, space, western, etc., along with sharing content, and you never need to buy another action RPG again. It's a good point. I mean, the Skyrim engine, the Fallout engine, it's a little dated, but actually, to that point, if you guys remember, I was playing a game that was made in that engine. What was that called? I gotta look it up. I had a game installed on my laptop. I'm gonna double check, but it was made in the Skyrim engine, and it was its own unique intellectual property. It started out as a mod, and then it became a game that you could get for free. You remember me talking about that one, Nick?
Not a fan, no.
I think it started with an E. I'm just double checking. I will actually figure out what game this was, and then I will post about it in the SavePoint. I did talk about it on a previous episode, but it was absolutely fantastic. It was like a complete kind of redo on a game in that engine. Like, even the magic system was different. And I absolutely played the heck out of it. I gotta play it more, but the world was gorgeous. And so I see what, Jeremy's saying. They kind of already have it. It's just not, it's not as easy to use as like a Mario Maker is. But I know what you're getting at. If they could find a way to make that as easy, I think that could be a really cool hit. So let's pull on over to the save point. We got a bunch more responses there. Alright, so Al Vogue said Zelda Maker or Metroid Maker.
Ooh, yeah.
I like both those ideas. I think a Zelda Maker would be very cool, even if it's the old Zelda engine. Like, if you were able to design your own dungeons and your own traps, I think, you know what I mean?
Isn't it in one of the most recent Zeldas or something? There is a dungeon creator, like, allows you to like mix and match dungeon pieces to make your own dungeon.
I feel like you're right.
I don't know if it was I don't think it was Breath of the Wild. I thought it was something, or maybe it's that expansion. Well, I say expansion, but whatever that, and it's not Breath of the Wild 2. It was something. Oh man, like I don't have it, so I can't like, tell it firsthand. But I thought I remember someone was saying, there's a way to actually create your own, at least the Zelda dungeon. Like, you can't do like a whole like overworld map, which I think would be super cool along with the dungeons.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
But yeah, like I want to say one of the Zelda games allowed you something like as you beat the levels, it unlocked like dungeon pieces that you could then use in your own created dungeon, like create a Zelda dungeon. Oh, but let me look it up.
What was that? No, I feel like you're on to something. They released Oh my god, what was that? Shit. All right. Well, we'll have to, maybe we'll post that in the SavePoint or our Discord once we figure out what the hell we're trying to remember. But I know what you're saying. Oh, it's gonna drive me batshit.
Oh, there it is. Nintendo revealed a remake of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, which was from originally the Game Boy. That's what it is. So, with Link's Awakening, you'll be able to build your own little Zelda dungeons. That's what it was.
Oh, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it doesn't go quite as far as Super Mario Maker, but it's no slouch either. So yeah. So that's where it was. Like, it's not out yet. But yeah, so the Zelda's Link's Awakening. When does that come out? Did they have a date
September,
for that?
I think.
I do want to say it was this year, wasn't it? September 20th. Yeah.
September 20th.
Yeah, later this year. So there you go. So yeah. A Zelda one, quasi on the way again, not to level like Mario Maker, but I'd say that's a pretty good contender.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people do with that. Another idea we had was from our boy Troy Games. Mega Man would be pretty sweet as a maker. I totally agree.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see the games the community make in that series. Just the hardest shit maps. Like, you see some of these Mario Maker maps. And I'm looking at...
Absolutely insane.
I'm looking at you, Glovebox. That, my pal Eric Glover over at the Bad Fodder Figures, man. That boy posted a video of... It was, like, just chains of those damn fireballs. And, like, the timing and the jumping this poor schmuck had to do to get to the end of the map. Whoever recorded the video, I just replied to Eric. I was like, yeah, no, I ain't gonna do that. That scares me. But it's amazing what people make with these, man. Some of these maps are just like expertise and precision. Our pal Josh Ian, if it could be done properly, Mario Kart Maker would be fun. Sonic OFC, of fucking course. I agree on both of those, man. But I loved his next idea. This really got my gears turning. Gonna go old school, but what about Marble Madness Maker?
Oh, Marble Madness Maker, yeah.
That's what I said.
There was only was it 6 maps?
Yeah,
I think, or level.
It was a very low amount.
Didn't have a lot.
No.
Yeah, it was very low, but I just remember it took me forever just to beat every map.
Yeah, that was a tough game.
That would be a good one. Absolutely.
I agree, and the conversation kind of went further down from there. And a lot of people, myself included, were like, holy crap, what a great idea. And, Josh was saying he could really see a homegrown challenge scene growing out of that. And I'm sitting here going, why hasn't this been done already? It almost seems like a given. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just said, Marble Insanity. See? Was that so hard? Now someone go make that. Our pal Luke Bordick. How is the answer anything other than Castlevania? Oh my god, if there was a way to do it, I'd be game. Yeah. Todd Smith from is it the Backlog podcast? I love you guys. Castlevania would be pretty sweet. Make your own castle. I would have to make an inverted one too. I mean, dude, that's a given. You can't have Castlevania anymore without an inverted castle, which Bloodstained does in its own unique way. You get an ability that allows you to invert, and that allows you to get into other rooms that you couldn't get in before. I'm telling you, Bloodstained is the shit. And Josh had a point. He said he didn't think Metroid or Castlevania would work, reason being it's an entire world design. Not like a level design, maybe just design a whole new game at that point. I said, I'm game. Give me the kit, bitches. Alsylvania coming.
Well, I think you could do it. Maybe not to the level of a full-on. I'll just go ahead and Metroid was my answer for this. Okay. I would love to see a Metroid. Metroidvania. Castlevania is kind of the same thing. The tricky part would be how do you set up, how do you set
up the locks, the abilities and the locks?
Yes. That exactly that. It's like, okay, you could have like this door require, it's like you got your missile door and you put your missiles here, but it's like you also probably need to have like some kind of like check and balance system that says like, okay, this area you can't get into without this stuff. So it's like, are you even building it correctly?
Right.
In theory, it shouldn't be hard, but at the same time, it's like you have to make it, idiot proof type of thing.
Yeah.
So people aren't, making the impossible type thing. So,
I still love the idea though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like at a high level concept, is like that would be cool to be able to kind of make your own levels like that.
Yeah. Todd fired back with another one, Contra. You could even have a few different level styles to pick from. Interesting you say that. One of the recent Game Pass games is a game called Blazing Chrome, and at first I just thought it was finally a fast version of Chrome, the browser, but it's not. It's a game that is its own little love letter to Contra, very much inspired by it. I don't think it has a maker. I don't know if it does. I haven't looked at it, but that just reminded me of that as another release that came out on Game Pass this week. But I like the idea. Oh, God damn it. I'm so sorry, guys. But, yeah, the idea with a Contra maker that I think makes it more reasonable is it's like Mario Brothers, where you have to time hazards and enemies and gunshots. So, in a way, I can almost see that being the next one down the line. You know what I mean? Like, you have the Zelda maker coming up that you're talking about, Nick. And then you have Mario Maker. I could see some kind of Contra maker or something in all but name being the next one on the list. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Alright. That is all the answers we had on Twitter and in the SavePoint. And that will actually bring us to the end for conclusions and final thoughts and shout-outs. Nick, I'll let you start. Anyone to shout out? Any thing to promote?
No, kind of like everything's in stasis until I get through the move. So it's a month away countdown. So I just, once I'm past that, then, and I do have some pokers in the fire, things I can't talk about right now, but we have some cool stuff gaming wise soon afterwards.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. That's exciting. That is really cool, man. Can't wait to hear more about that. On my end, obviously, big shout out to the fans. Thank you guys for sticking with us. I know we've been off a couple weeks. Thank you for putting up with my horrible congestion, scratchy throat. Again, blame the Game Hounds. They got me sick through the radio waves. But no, thank you to all the fans. Thank you to everybody in the podcast community that retweets us and helps push us out there. I always really appreciate that. I don't say it enough. Big shout out and thank you to the Everyday Gamers. We actually just did a charity pinball tournament while I was on vacation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like the top winner got I think it was like $50 donated to their charity of their choice. And we played the free Fishtails table and by Williams for Pinball FX3. I'm just gonna say, I said it in their channel, and Dave, our illustrious leader of the Good for Gaming crew, said this was probably the quote of the entire charity about this table when I said, "It is the freaking Dark Souls of pinball."
Oh boy.
I have never played a more difficult pinball table in my life, and I'm pretty damn good at pinball.
Did it have flippers?
It did, but the drain was wider than any other table I've played.
No.
It was a really wide drain, and then on top of that, in the middle, you had a lot of ramps that had hard stops on the side, to where if you didn't hit it just right, you just bounced right the fuck down that drain. Ooh. Then there was how you have the overarching side loop where, you hit it with the end of the flipper, it loops around and comes back down to the other side.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the biggest hazard with that in a pinball game is that your ball is just going so fucking rocket fast. You gotta whack it with the preceding flipper pretty quickly. The problem is, on Fishtails, it's almost out of reach of that flipper. So you have to have your timing down to a goddamn millisecond. And I just had a balls of a time with it. I had a hard time, and I did not chart very well. I think I made 4th place out of 8, which sounds good, but the guy above me was like 50 million points ahead. Yeah, Fishtails is a rough table. I encourage any pinball fans that think they're as great at pinball as I do to try that and get humbled. But yeah, big shout out to Everyday Gamers. I love being a part of this crew. Now with the new job and being in a better financial space, I'm actually looking forward to getting more involved in the streaming aspect of things, not just with myself, but following some of the other great streamers that are part of our crew and actually being able to donate to some of their causes because they're doing such great work and they're reaching so many more people, and I would just love to be able to help out there. But I say it every time, I've just never been part of a more positive, welcoming, and just great crew. Love the Everyday Gamers. And then a big shout out to the boys over at Bad Fodder Figures. Thank you guys very much. Being part of the group that just kept me positive, throughout this job search. And, obviously I really appreciate them giving me a big shout out on their recent episode, that I got the job and just giving me kudos for that. And I got to add another group here, another podcast here, but Tap the Craft. I have been absolutely hooked on them. Danny, and forgive me, I'll remember your name, Mr. Co-host on Tap the Craft. I sincerely apologize. I did this with the boys at Bad Fodder Figures too, no, I'm sorry, not Everyday Gamers, although I love Everyday Gamers. I meant the Good for Gaming crew. Good for Gaming is the charity group. Sorry, guys. Everyday Gamers is the podcast I love that inspired us to be a podcast. Mr. AZ Rockslide and Jason, and I gotta catch up with you guys. It's been a while. Anyway, sorry. But yes, Bad Fodder Figures, thank you very much for the shout out. Thank you, Tap the Craft. They also gave me a big shout out on the job. If you're into craft brew and craft beer, I cannot recommend them enough. Denny and crew, they really know their beer. They can explain to you, and they generally do. Every episode, they'll kind of focus on a type of beer, and they will explain what their ins and outs are, what the taste profile is. And then they just give you some great lists of local brewers in their area and just around the country that are making really great beers. And they mentioned a few up in Pennsylvania, and I wound up picking up some of their brews in our local grocery store and really enjoying it. So it's opened my eyes to some more local craft brews, and they're just really cool. They're not they're not conceited. They're very nice guys. They really enjoy beer, and they enjoy sharing their knowledge with everybody. So if the subject even remotely interests you, I highly recommend Tap the Craft. They're a fantastic cast. And that is it for conclusions and final thoughts and shout outs. As far as us, we always invite you to hang out with us on the SavePoint, which is our Facebook group for games, and for the podcast, kind of like our sister group, if you want to call it that, at tiny.cc/SavePoint. That's kind of where the whole Retro-Rents family hangs out. We have a Discord that is not well maintained, aside from us doing our podcast from it and planning there. But the main crowd is on the SavePoint, so come hang out with us, come talk games, and get involved there. You can email us at theretrorents@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are at theretrorents. I am at RetroRentsAl. Nick is at Black Eagle Ops. On Twitch, at RetroRentsAl. Not at, but RetroRentsAl on Twitch. Kyle is Kibis. And Nick is Black Eagle Ops. Travis is Soda Bread. Oh, I'm sorry. One more podcast shout out. Travis and Alex from the Good for Gaming crew have started their own podcast called the RPG Kingdom. And they do some real deep dives on some classic RPGs. And
nice.
yeah, Travis always had really in-depth knowledge of a lot of RPGs, but him and his co-host, the interplay between the two of them, it just really shows off how much deep dive knowledge they really have of some of these games, and it's very entertaining to listen to. And the co-host Alex just has this dog. I have no idea what he looks like. He sounds adorable. If I remember correctly, his name is Baxter, and you just hear his tags as he comes in and says hi and gives a shake to everybody listening. So hi, Baxter. And yeah, so check them out at the RPG Kingdom. Other than that, that is all we have for this week. Again, thank you all for, just being patient, letting us take our vacation. We'll call this, I guess this is like season 3 now of the Retro-rents. I think we are now 3 years old. Unbelievable. Woo! And, yeah. And this has been episode 43. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us. Please, if you're enjoying the show, please share the links for when the episodes go live. That's always appreciated. But even more appreciated is anyone that drops by iTunes, as that's one of our main avenues, and leaves us a review. Anyone that leaves a review, I'm putting into a raffle. And at some point, we're going to be doing some giveaways, because I just get, but between like Humble and everything else, I've got tons of keys just sitting here waiting to be claimed. So I'd be happy to give some away to anybody that wants to leave us a review and help get the word out there about us. We really appreciate it. Other than that, thanks for listening. Come back next time, and as usual, play games, have fun, and don't be dicks.
Peace.
See ya.